Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Adam, and you are watching Unlimited Options Investing. In this video, I want to talk about two prominent Canadian railway companies, the first being CNR, Canadian National Railway, and the second being CP, Canadian Pacific Railway. And both of these companies have been attempting to outbid one another to take over a United States railway company called Kansas City Southern, and it would be very significant which company would win this bid because they would be the first one to own railroads in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And by the looks of it, it looks like CP is going to be winning this bid. It's been very dramatic, as well as the stock prices have been all over the place. So we're going to be talking about all of that, and I think CP could be a potential buy for the long term. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and let's get started. So an interesting piece of news that came out on Sunday, September 12th. Kansas City Southern picks Canadian Pacific's $31 billion bid for a railroad, but it's not final yet. So rival bidder Canadian National still has 5 days to negotiate amendments to its $33 billion offer. And also to note, CN's bid was rejected by regulators. Canadian National's bid was $33.6 billion US, but regulators rejected a key part of the offer last month. Taking a look at the stock price, so CNR has been trading sideways for most of the year, and then at the end of August it shot straight up, and that's unlike the railroads because usually railway companies are very boring investments. However, they are profitable long-term investments, but they are boring in the short term. You don't usually see this crazy explosive growth, and it's been coming down to earth a little bit over here. And it actually went up, I think, because investors were happy that CNR did not get the deal, because I think in the short term it would hurt. It's expensive, right? $30 billion plus is really expensive for these companies. So I think in the short term it would hurt investors' pockets, but again, for the long term, there's a reason why both these companies are trying so hard to bid one another for the long term, that potential between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And taking a look at CP for most of the year, it is not nearly as clear. It's been all over the place. And if we take a look at the weekly for CP, and then we can maybe draw another line where there could be more buying pressure around this $85 mark, because last week you see this very thin, indecisive candle. We see it having some pressure on $85, as well as back in December of last year, there was some price action around the $85 mark as well. So it could be a potential point of interest to potentially nibble and create or add to your position for CP. Now, when it comes to Canadian railroad companies, I believe they're strong fundamentally long-term. So seeing the price of CP depressed like this doesn't make me too fearful. However, with all the news of all this bid takeover, it could be very volatile for the stock in the short term, but again, for the long term, I do believe it's just a blip in the radar. Looking at Canadian National Railroad's market cap, it's just under 105 billion Canadian dollars, and looking at Canadian Pacific's, it's just under about 58 Canadian billion dollars. And taking a look at Canadian National Railroad's forward PE ratio is at about 22.65, and looking at CP's forward PE ratio is at about 19.36, so it is trading cheaper than CNR. And when I say the railroads are no joke, they are no joke long term, with the Canadian National Railway up 6,777% all time, and Canadian Pacific Railway up 2,647% all time. So they were wealth creators over the past couple of decades as well. It looks like any dip was a potential buying opportunity, so be wary if you do like these companies fundamentally long term. This could be a potential buying opportunity for Canadian Pacific Railway. Otherwise, that's the end of my video. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one.